so friendly. What's happened to your eye? Let me guess, you fell down the stairs.
Yes.
And your husband was standing at the bottom doing his boxing training.
What's this got to do with you?
I just don't understand it. How often does this happen?
Not often. Just sometimes.
Maybe you ought to move to a bungalow without stairs.
Yeah, you think you can give me advice? You married?
You trade in your pride when you do that?
You've never been in love. If you had, you'd never ask that. Okay, what do you want to drink?
Is it too early for a whiskey? What do you think? Sorry, Mrs. Biba? Haven't you heard what's happened to Fuller?
Yes. But I don't want to talk about it.
Why not? You hated him. Maybe your life will be a bit easier now without him around anymore.
How can you say that? He's been murdered. You're making it look like I wanted that to happen to him.
Did you then?
No!
After everything he did to you?
What? What do you know about that?
Oh, a little.
Nothing. You don't know a thing. And if there is anything, you save it for yourself.
Or what? The same thing that happened to Fuller will happen to me?
Get out.
Mrs. Biba? A girl I know is being suspected of having killed Fuller.
I'm sorry about that.
Yes, she was lured into a trap. She has no motive. She also wasn't being blackmailed.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Was Fuller blackmailing anyone else? Did anyone else have a motive apart from you?
Oh, you got nerve. I wasn't being blackmailed. Listen, I'm sorry about what happened to your friend. But if she's not guilty, then she won't be held for long now, will she? And I don't know anything about blackmail.
Huh. So you don't want to help me get an innocent girl out of jail? So, are 15 Ben Franklins enough of a motive for murder?
What?
The $1,500 you had to pay Fuller.
Get out of here. You just can't. You don't.
Have any evidence? Could be I do. It's about time the truth got shook out.
I didn't murder Fuller.
Where were you when it happened?
So now you're a cop.
Would you prefer it if I go to the cops on this?
I was at home.
Alone?
With my husband.
I believe you. That shiner you have there says it all. Hey, can I get a pot of coffee?
On its way.
The doc's got his hospital ID with him. Perhaps I can somehow get my hands on it. Excuse me, Dr. Newhouse.
Hello, yes?
Do Do you know how my mother is? Or should I ask someone in the hospital?
I've already seen your mother today, Darren. No change. And I think we ought to take that as a good sign.
Are there good medical reasons for thinking that? Or is that just wishful thinking?
Optimism never hurts.
So it's just wishful thinking then?
Darren.
Thanks, Doc. What's that ID you're wearing there?
It's from the hospital.
Don't they know you're a doctor there? They can't have that many staff.
I said the same thing to the admin people. But Dick, the security guard, insists on it. He's very meticulous. And apparently can't recognize faces.
Can you tell me something about the security guy at the hospital? I find him kind of interesting.
He used to be a police officer. He was, There were a few problems. So, when he couldn't be a police officer anymore, he became a security guard. Where do you know him from?
So you don't reckon it's such a bad thing if they've got the wrong person, since they still have to practice?
I'm sure that the captain will solve the case.
As I understand it, there's also a department in the health center for the less mobile. Morgue.
Yes, that's right. This is a small town. We doctors at the health center are also responsible for checking corpses.
So don't you have to have special training for that?
If there's even just the slightest sign of a crime, then we get an experienced pathologist over from Portland.
So that means that Fuller still hasn't been looked at.
Right now, we're waiting for the pathologist. We've only prepared him.
Do the nurses sometimes stick their fingers in the deceased's personal effects?
Outrageous! Of course not. These things are properly stored away in the morgue as they should be.
Thank you. So how was old Fuller killed then?
Oh, I'm afraid I'm not allowed to tell you anything. They're still investigating.
What? You think I'd tell the press? I did used to work for him, and I'd like to know what happened.
Well, okay then. He was stabbed.
And more exactly?
He was stabbed nearly a dozen times. Well, it been that some vital organs were injured.
Huh. So it looks like Fuller had a pretty free choice of how he checked out. Somebody wanted to cover all the bases for him.
Darren, you really shouldn't speak of the dead like that. Ask. Just come and find me. Hot.
Oh man, sorry. It was an accident. Sorry.
It's all right. Your thoughts are elsewhere.
I'll give it here, Dr. Newhouse. I'll rinse out the stain.
Thanks.
No harm meant.
No damage. I just gotta keep it cool.